Hi, my name is Fabrice Lumineau. I am an associate professor in strategic management at the Krannert School of Management at Purdue University. In this video, I will talk about the interplay between contractual and relational mechanisms of governance in interorganizational relationship. Relationship between organizations, such as alliances, buyer-supplier relationships, or R&D consortia, are central to economic activity. Such relationships involve significant risk and uncertainties. Anticipating these challenges, partners make specific governance choices to mitigate risk and to promote the optimal combination of their resources. Prior research has suggested that two main types of governance are at play in interorganizational relationships. One is contractual governance, which highlights the importance of contracts between firms and their formal rules to safeguard against opportunism and conflicts. However, governance involves more than formal contracts. Relational governance, and especially trust, is another type of governance to mitigate exchange hazards associated with uncertainty and transaction-specific investments. As firms often simultaneously use both contractual and relational governance to organize their relationships, the interplay of contractual and relational mechanisms has been a topic of ongoing debate both in management and in economics over the last 15 years. Next, I will provide an overview of the debates regarding each mechanism and how they interact. On the one hand, contractual governance, also called formal contract, legal contract, or legal safeguards, refers to the extent to which one relationship is governed by a formal and written contract, which explicitly stipulates the responsibilities and obligations of each party. Contractual governance may define outputs to be delivered, specify monitoring procedures, and detail duties, rights, and contingencies. Existing research has regarded contractual governance as an important way to control exchange hazards. In recent studies, it has been argued that contractual governance also plays important roles in the coordination and adaptation of relationships. Nevertheless, contractual governance is subject to several limitations. Firstly, contracts may be incomplete. Because of human beings' bounded rationality, it is impossible to write a complete contract that anticipates all possible events and clarifies the appropriate actions of each party. Secondly, contracts may signal a lack of trust, which is detrimental for cooperation among partners. On the other hand, relational governance, also named relational mechanism or social control, refers to the extent to which one relationship is governed by social relations. Different from contractual governance, relying on formal structure and third-party enforcement, relational governance relies on informal structure and self-enforcement of each party. In extant research, trust and relational norms are two of the most frequently discussed relational governance types. Trust refers to the confidence in the partner's integrity, credibility, and benevolence in a risky exchange relationship, whereas relational norms refer to shared expectation about the behavior of each party. When a high level of mutual trust exists in a relationship, both parties share mutual confidence that the other party will not exploit any adverse situation. Relational norms provide a framework of references to guide firms to act in expected ways. Therefore, both trust and relational norms can reduce opportunism, and both are regarded as important governance mechanisms. However, relational governance also suffers from limitations. While it takes extensive time and resources to develop, it can be easily destroyed. It is also threatened by its ambiguous nature and is likely to be abused by opportunism. This distinction between contractual and relational governance reflects two distinct while interrelated types of governance to support and manage relationships. Considering the advantages and limitations of both contractual and relational governance, many studies have investigated their interaction. Existing research can be broadly divided into two groups. One group argues that the two types of governance substitute each other. That is, the use of one type of governance decreases the use of or the benefits of using the other one. Here, different arguments have been advanced, especially a replacing argument versus a dampening argument. The replacing mechanism suggests that contractual governance is redundant when trust and relational norms are well developed because relational governance alone can govern the relationship effectively. The dampening mechanism refers to the substitution caused by pernicious effects of one type of governance on the basis or strengths of the other type of governance. It's frequently argued that contractual governance may signal a lack of trust and harm the development of relational governance. In contrast, another group contends that the two types of governance may be complementary. That is, the use of one increases the use of or the benefits of using the other one. Existing research has suggested several mechanisms. Firstly, clearly articulated contractual terms may inspire the confidence of cooperative parties in their cooperation, paving the way for the development of relational governance. Secondly, contracts usually contain terms defining the rights and duties, long-term commitment, and punishment for opportunism. These terms help reduce information asymmetry and support fair climate to facilitate relational governance development. In addition, the contracting process could be used purposively to increase mutual understanding and improve trust. Thirdly, relational governance can complement contractual governance by creating new contractual mindsets. For instance, trust could create a win-win mindset which facilitates the contracting process. The three mechanisms are enabling mechanisms, in the sense that one type of governance creates conditions to facilitate the other type. In addition to these enabling mechanisms, contractual and relational governance may also rely on a compensating mechanism to complement each other. The compensating mechanism indicates that contractual governance can address the limitations of relational governance and vice versa. By specifying the roles and obligations of each party explicitly, contracts can provide formal assurance for relational governance. Relational governance allows cooperative parties to learn from these situations and refine their contracts in the future. Therefore, contractual and relational governance are positively related to each other. Overall, our understanding of how and when contractual and relational governance mechanisms interact is still limited. From a practitioner perspective, the success of relationships strongly relies on the types of governance chosen by managers. A clarification of the way in which these governance mechanisms work may be very helpful to guide practitioners to make the best choice between contractual and relational governance. If you want to know more about this important issue, I invite you to read a recent meta-analysis I conducted, where I especially discuss opportunities for future research. For instance, recent studies have provided more nuanced explanations of the mutual relationship between contractual and relational governance. They have argued that both complementary and substitute propositions are possible. In particular, recent works point out the multiple dimensions of contractual governance. They have claimed that different dimensions of contracts may have different impacts on relational governance. In addition, investigation of the possible moderating effects of the contractual relational governance interplay may highlight important contextual factors. Thank you.